This battle should have lasted 30 minutes. It ended before it began, stopped by nothing. 150,000 soldiers, the finest war machine in Asia, turned back by a single man playing music. No swords, no arrows, no army. Just one man, a wooden lute, and the most audacious lie in the history of warfare. That man had no reinforcements coming, no escape route, no hidden weapon. He had absolutely nothing, and he knew it. What he also knew was his enemy's mind, better than his enemy knew it himself. His name is Zhuge Liang, the sleeping dragon, the most feared strategic genius in all of China. Even in defeat, he terrified kings. His enemy, Sima Yi, commands the full force of the Wei dynasty, battle-hardened, ruthless, 15 years undefeated in the field. Today, Sima Yi has him cornered in Xicheng Fortress. 3,000 men, no reinforcements, no walls that can hold. 9. By every calculation of force and position, by every rule of military logic, this is a perfect, clean, inevitable kill. Sima Yi has no idea he is walking straight into his own mind. And that is exactly where Zhuge Liang is waiting. In less than 10 minutes, this city will be overrun. Dawn, 228 AD. Xicheng Fortress. The Wei vanguard crests the ridge, a wall of black iron, and the earth begins to shake. 150,000 spears catch the morning light. The sound alone, boots, war drums, horses, is enough to crack stone. Inside the city walls, the messengers are already screaming. A junior officer hits the courtyard at a full sprint, his face white as ash. They're here, full force, less than 2 miles out. We have 3,000 men, and half of them are clerks. 3,000 versus 150,000. Not a battle, a countdown. 50 trained killers for every single defender. The generals don't argue the math, they just beg Zhuge Liang to run. Take the western pass, move now, before the cavalry seals the exit and turns retreat into a massacre. Zhuge Liang doesn't answer. He walks to the window, stares at the approaching dust cloud, his face completely still. He knows what his generals don't yet understand. Open fields mean Wei cavalry. Wei cavalry means they die running, in the dirt, within minutes. No relief force is coming. No hidden army over the ridge. No miracle reinforcements racing down the valley road. No relief column. No answered signal fire. No miracle assembling beyond the ridge. Nothing. They had absolutely nothing left to fight with. Except one thing. The only weapon Sima Yi cannot count, cannot see, and cannot fight. The unknown. That invisible space between certainty and doubt. The only weapon that cannot be counted, measured, or destroyed by any army. Zhuge Liang turns around. When he speaks, his voice is so calm it terrifies his own generals more than the drums outside. Take down every battle flag. Strip the armor from the walls. Kill the war drums. Now. Not a single sound. The generals freeze. Removing the visible defenses while the enemy closes in isn't strategy. It's a surrender announcement. He isn't finished, not even close. The order that follows will push every man in that room past the edge of reason and logic. Open the gates, he says. All 4. As wide as they go. The room stops breathing. One general opens his mouth. Zhuge Liang's eyes shut it before a single word escapes. Discipline holds. Trembling hands reach for the iron bolts. Heavy oak gates swing open, wide, outward, into nothing. 20 men, older men, civilians if you have them. Give them brooms. Send them to the gates. Tell them to sweep. Just sweep. Quietly. Like it's any other morning in a city that isn't 10 minutes from total destruction. Zhuge Liang doesn't put on his armor. He picks up a 7-string lute. He walks toward the highest watchtower. Alone. He lights a single stick of incense at the top. The smoke rises straight and slow in the still morning air. Then he places his fingers on the strings, sits back, and waits. From miles away, carried on still morning air, the ground started shaking again. Low at first, then building through the stone beneath their feet. The Wei vanguard cavalry bursts through the tree line. Blades drawn, eyes locked on the walls, charging at full speed. Then they stopped. Hard and sudden, horses reared. Dust rolled forward past the halted line. Alone, continuing toward the wide open gates. No archers on the walls, no boiling oil. No soldiers scrambling into position. No resistance. Just 4 wide open gates, An old man with broom sweeping the dust like the end of the world isn't standing directly behind them. The cavalry captain throws up his fist. Dead halt. Horses snort. No one says a word. This isn't what a desperate last stand looks like. This looks like a city that already knows it won. Word hits the main column like a thrown spear. Sima Yi drives his horse to the front, forcing his way through the ranks. He arrives at the ridge, surveys the scene. Open gates, unarmed sweepers. His greatest enemy sitting on the highest tower, playing music. The melody drifts down over 150,000 soldiers. Clean, precise, completely relaxed. Not one single note trembled. The melody floated down over 150,000 soldiers like it belonged to another world entirely. Sima Yi's lieutenants are already drawing swords. "My lord, one charge, 10 minutes. We take his head right now." Sima Yi doesn't move. His knuckles go white on the reins. He knows Zhuge Liang. Not from rumor, from 15 years of direct tactical war. He knows exactly how this mind operates. Zhuge Liang does not make mistakes, does not take uncalculated risks, does not expose himself, unless he wants to be seen. That open gate isn't an invitation, it's a loaded weapon pointed directly at his face. Sima Yi's eyes move to the forest on the left flank, suspiciously still, suspiciously quiet. Archers, hidden, waiting. The moment his men funnel through those gates, they're dead. His eyes sweep the rooftops. Every shadow is a firing position. Every doorway, an ambush. Every window, a blade aimed at his vanguard. The music continues. Zhuge Liang doesn't even look down. He plays like a man with nowhere else to be. Each note lands on Sima Yi's chest like a hammer. Because the music isn't just music. It's a message. I dare you. A lieutenant steps forward. "My lord, give me the order. I will end this right now." Sima Yi raised one hand. The silence that followed wasn't absence of sound. It was something far heavier pressing down on every man. But then, a thought cuts through everything. Cold, sharp, unwanted. What if he's wrong? The thought arrived cold and uninvited, cutting straight through 15 years of battlefield certainty like a blade through silk. What if there are no archers? What if those trees are just trees? What if the open gates are exactly what they look like? Desperation. He stares at the sweepers again. Old men should be terrified right now. They aren't. They aren't even looking up. Because they know the trap is set. They have their orders. Stay calm, keep sweeping, don't give it away. But what if they're just sweeping? The calculation builds pressure behind Sima Yi's eyes like a vice. 15 years undefeated. 15 years of reading every battlefield. He has never, not once, seen Zhuge Liang take a risk like this. Which means this is not a risk. Zhuge Liang never gambles. Every open gate, every sweeping elder, every note, all of it deliberate. Inside the tower, cold sweat soaks through Zhuge Liang's robes. His fingers must not shake. One missed note, one hesitation. Sima Yi will see it, and it will be over in 60 seconds. Every note is calculated, every breath is controlled. This performance is the only armor he has left. The incense burns down slowly, the ash falls. The silence between the two commanders tightens like a noose. Sima Yi's breathing has gone shallow. He stares at the open gates, the forest, the rooftops, the sweepers who never look up. He runs the numbers one final time. Vanguard funnels through the bottleneck. Hidden archers open fire from above. Cavalry trapped below. 20,000 dead in the first 3 minutes. His greatest victory, turned catastrophic, by a man playing a lute. A cavalry unit in the front row leans forward. Horses sense the tension, muscles coiling, hooves shifting in the dirt. One rider's hand tightens on his blade. He looks to Sima Yi. Waiting, one word, just one, and they charge. Zhuge Liang's fingers slow, almost imperceptibly, on the strings. Does he hear it? Does he feel the shift? This is the moment. One breath away from everything ending. The silence stretches, tighter, tighter. Retreat. Sima Yi's voice is flat, absolute. Full column, north, now. My lord. He didn't let the word finish. Now. One syllable, landing like a hammer, leaving no space for any argument whatsoever. The order moves down the line like a shockwave. For one long moment. Nothing. Disbelief hangs over the entire army like fog. Then slowly, reluctantly, 150,000 soldiers begin to turn away. The rumble builds again. Reversed.
The greatest army in China, walking away from an empty city. Zhuge Liang keeps playing, does not open his eyes, does not move. He plays until the last echo of the drums disappears.
Until the valley is completely silent, until only the wind remains. Then, and only then, the music stops. He lowers the lute, stands, stares at the empty horizon. One long, shaking breath. His robes are soaked through. His hands finally begin to tremble, the first real movement they've made all morning. Below in the courtyard, 3,000 men exhale at once. Some collapse against the walls. Some cannot speak. They look up at the tower, at the man who just held off an empire with 10 strings and a lit stick of incense. Miles north, Sima Yi stops his horse, stares at the empty road ahead. His eyes close. A long, cold exhale. He didn't retreat from an army. He retreated from an idea, and he will spend the rest of his life knowing it. The empty fort strategy wasn't improvised brilliance. It was precision profiling. Zhuge Liang had spent 15 years mapping Sima Yi's decision patterns, and he knew exactly where to aim. Sima Yi's flaw wasn't cowardice. It was his greatest strength turned inward. His legendary caution became the exact mechanism that destroyed him. The mind that made him undefeatable defeated itself. The real lesson: if you understand your opponent's psychology completely, you don't need an army. Give a paranoid mind the one thing it fears most: perfect, unreadable confidence, and watch it collapse under its own weight. History's most decisive battles weren't won with numbers or steel. They were won in the space between two minds, where nerve, deception, and timing collide. Subscribe to Epic Sagas, because the next lie that changes history is even bolder.